Welcome back, class 10, to the online bio classes. You may be surprised, chapter 4 I am writing absorption by roots. In your book it is chapter 3. Actually in some other book, genetics was included as a separate chapter. So even if we take it as chapter 3, I'll do the correction. Within this chapter only we can study the next chapter, that is transpiration also, in chapter 4 only. Okay, so that the numbering will become correct. So next is, one experiment was left in chapter 4 in absorption by roots. The experiment is to show, it is there in the syllabus, that water is conducted through xylem tissue. You can see here two experimental setup A and B, in which the twigs of the plants, these two are called the twigs, are kept in a beaker containing water. Okay, but what is the difference? You just note, in case of A, experimental setup number A, the phloem tissue has been removed, whereas in experimental setup number B, xylem tissue has been removed from the center. So here xylem is removed, in B, in A, phloem is removed. So what we find observation after a few days, that the leaves of experimental setup number A, it remains turgid and fully expanded, whereas the leaves of experimental setup number B, it becomes wilted. Wilted means it will fold, it will lose its hardness. Why? So what does it show? What is the result? This experiment shows that here the xylem tissue is intact, so water molecules which are absorbed from the beaker, it passes through the xylem tissue which is already present in this twig, and then it is supplied to both the leaves, and the leaves remain turgid. So this experiment shows that conduction of water and minerals, it occurs through the xylem tissue, not through the phloem tissue, because although the phloem has been removed, still the leaves remain turgid. But here the xylem has been removed, and then we find that the leaves wilt. So this experiment shows that for the conduction of water and minerals, xylem tissue is needed. Okay. Now we have completed chapter 3. That is your absorption by roots according to your book, chapter 3. Now some review questions are there. We'll discuss that one, and after that we can start with the fourth chapter, that is transpiration. So first one is in review questions on page 43. Select the correct option. Number 1, osmosis involves the diffusion of water from more concentrated solution to less concentrated solution. That is number 1, C is correct. Number 2, what is responsible for guttation? What is guttation? That is not mentioned in your book also, as well as in the syllabus also. I can check, guttation is not there, but you should understand the meaning is, guttation means loss of water, excess water from the leaves in the form of, from the margin of the leaves through tiny pores which are called hydathodes, Hyda, Hyda, Thodes, and this water is lost in the form of liquid. It is due to excess of root pressure. So osmotic pressure, root pressure, suction pressure, capillarity. There are, which one is responsible, you have to choose. Okay. So you can write root pressure. When this condition occurs, when absorption of water from the soil is more than the loss of water from the leaves by transpiration, then only guttation will occur. Then question number 3, water will be absorbed by the root hairs when the concentration of salt in the soil is high. If concentration of salt is high in the soil, means there will be less water in the soil, so this is not possible. Number B, when the concentration of solute in the cell sap is high. Concentration of solute in the cell sap means inside the root hair cells is high. If solute is more, means water will be less, so that is also not the condition. When the plant is rapidly respiring, when they are separated from the soil by a semi-permeable membrane. So that is correct, when they are separated from the soil by a semi-permeable membrane. Water will be absorbed by the root hair. Then number 4, wilting of plant occurs when, wilting you can see, number A, phloem is blocked. Is the phloem blocked here? No, phloem is intact. Number B, xylem is blocked. Xylem is either blocked or removed, same condition. Both xylem and phloem are blocked, a few old roots are removed. So answer should be wilting of plant occurs when the xylem is blocked or removed. Because if xylem is stopped or blocked, the entry of water molecules and its passage to the leaves will stop. Number 5. Xylem transport water in tall trees. In tall trees, xylem transport water to be mainly due to number A. Metabolic activity in xylem cells, root pressure, capillary rise in xylem open pipes, transpiration pull and cohesion of water molecules. So last one is more correct. Xylem transport water in tall trees due to transpiration pull as well as cohesion of water molecules. Okay, then last one, number 6 is there. Root pressure is maximum when transpiration is high and absorption is very low. Means less water is absorbed from the soil and transpiration is very high. Then the root pressure will be maximum. No, transpiration is very low and absorption is very high. That will increase the root pressure. Because if more is the absorption, less is the loss of water, more will be the root pressure. Then fill in the blanks with the right word from the brackets. Water provides dash to plant cell which is necessary for functioning of plants. Flaccidity, turgidity. The answer should be turgidity, hardness. Thinness of cell walls of root hair cells increases their permeability or non-permeability. The answer should be permeability. If cell wall is thin, it will become more and more permeable. The exchange of gases during respiration and photosynthesis takes place by osmosis or diffusion. Diffusion is correct answer. Diffusion occurs readily in liquids or solids. Answer is in liquids, diffusion will be faster as compared to solids. Then number 5, the inward diffusion of water molecules through a semi-permeable membrane when surrounding solution is less concentrated. Inward diffusion means going inside is called exosmosis or endosmosis. The correct answer is endo. If going inside means it is endosmosis. If going outside, that is outward diffusion, it is called exosmosis. Okay, remember that. Number 6, the more the number of solid particles in a given amount of solvent, like some water is there, that is the solvent. If more is the solid particles, that is sugar or salt in it, the dash would be its osmotic pressure. The more or less will be its osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure will increase. It will not become less. Then the 7th and the last one of fill in the blanks. A fully distended cell. A cell when it is fully distended means fully expanded. It is called turgid or flaccid. The correct answer is turgid. A fully expanded cell is called turgid cell. Then number C, true and false is there. Only state whether the following are true or false. No need to do any corrections here. Active transport is important in the removal of harmful materials. Active transport is the process by which the substances move from lower concentration to higher concentration. So this method cannot be used for the removal of harmful material. It is used for absorption of minerals from the soil by the plants. Then number 2, diffusion needs a semi-permeable membrane. Is it so? For diffusion, semi-permeable membrane is required? No. So it will be false. Loss of water, number 3, in the form of water vapor from the leaves takes place by osmosis. No. The loss of water from the leaf surface is called transpiration. It is not known as osmosis. Number 4, in plants, diffusion occurs when the cell sap passes through the cell wall. If cell sap will pass through the cell wall, diffusion will occur. No, it's not necessary that the diffusion occurs only when the cell sap passes through the cell wall. There are different pathways for the movement of cell sap. It can pass through the cytoplasm also, as well as through the cell wall also. So in plants, diffusion occurs when the cell sap passes through cell wall. Diffusion can occur directly also from substomatal space. The gases can diffuse. Okay. Then number 5, exosmosis cause shrinkage of the cell. Exosmosis means when moving outside. Of course, it will cause shrinkage. Endosmosis, swelling, yeah, because it will go inside, then it will result in swelling of cells. Opposite of plasmolysis is deplasmolysis. Of course, it is true. Then question number D, answer the following questions. After that, diagram based questions are there which you need to practice. Okay, name the process or term. Name the following is very important question for the board exam also, so you should practice name the following, and this can be done only when you read the chapter thoroughly and understand all the topics clearly. Like number 1, the tissue responsible for ascent of sap. Which tissue causes the movement of sap from the roots to the upper parts of the plant? It is xylem and phloem. So here it is xylem tissue only causes ascent of sap, not the phloem, because phloem is concerned only with the transport of food from the leaves to other parts of the plant or from other parts of the plant to the leaves, vice versa, bidirectional it is. So number B, not 1. Now A is completed. Number B, the tissue which conducts water absorbed by the roots to the upper parts of a herbaceous plant. Which tissue conduct water to the upper parts of a herbaceous plant? In the herbs, once again it will be xylem tissue only, because in the herbs also we have the xylem tissue for the conduction of water. Tissue concerned with upward movement of water in the plant. How many times they have asked? Third time. Tissue concerned with upward movement of water in the plants, xylem tissue. The process by which resins swell up when placed in a beaker of water, endosmosis. The process by which molecules distribute themselves in the space they occupy is called diffusion. The condition of cell in which the cell contents are shrunken, it is called plasmolysis. Okay, plasmolysis is the state of the cell, and condition is placid also you can say. Okay, the inward movement of solvent molecules through a plasma membrane of a cell. Inward movement of solvent molecules, it is known as osmosis. Then differentiate between it there, diffusion and osmosis, flow of solvent molecules, flow of water molecules. In osmosis there will be a movement of solvent molecules through a semi-permeable membrane, whereas in diffusion no such semi-permeable membrane is needed. So that is the main point you have to write. And the second one, hypertonic and isotonic solution, number of solid particles. Means in hypertonic solution, the number of solid particles are more, whereas in isotonic solution, the number of solid particles are equal to the solid particles which are present in the outside, that is in the surroundings, okay, or in the solution. So now we have the diagram based questions. It's very important to practice these diagram based questions, because many diagram based questions have already been asked in the board exam, and they are quite, I will discuss some of the board questions and then we'll start with the 4th chapter, transpiration. Like in 2008, name the process of mixing of two different substances of molecules. The process of mixing of two different substances is called diffusion. So here also explain the term diffusion, explain the term turzidity. In 2010 it has been asked. Then give the exact location of lenticels. You know that 3 types of openings are there: stomata, lenticels, and the third one is cuticle, through which transpiration can occur. The lenticels are found in the bark of hard old woody trees. Okay. Then state the exact location of chloroplast and guard cells. Chloroplasts are present in the plant cell. It is the name of a plastic. So it is present in the cytoplasm of the plant cell. And guard cells are present near the stomata, because these are the kidney or bean-shaped cells which helps to or which regulate the opening and closing of stomatal pores. Okay. Then next we have the next question is, marine fish when placed in tap water burst. Marine means, you know, the fish which lives in sea water, if you place it under the tap water, it will burst. Burst means it will die. Why is it so? Because of number A, endosmosis, exosmosis, diffusion, or plasmolysis. The correct answer is due to endosmosis, because water molecules will go inside the body. Now see, in the marine fish, inside the body of marine fish, since they are living in a environment or in the salty water, their body also contains plenty of salt, less of water. So once you place it under the tap water, water molecules will diffuse inside their body. That will cause swelling and bursting of their body, or the death of the marine fishes. So you have to explain it. Name the process by which root hairs absorb water from the soil. You have to mention whether it is osmosis or diffusion. So we have completed this one. You try and answer the remaining questions. If not, then I will help you to solve some of the diagram based questions. So we can start now with the next chapter 4 in your book, as it is given, Transpiration. Okay, now next you can see the heading I have changed. Transpiration. What is transpiration? First of all, the definition of transpiration: loss of water in the form of water vapor from the aerial parts of the plant. Loss of water in the form of water vapor. Water vapor means in the gaseous form from the aerial parts of the plant. From the aerial parts of the plant is called transpiration. Now, for transpiration to occur, just now I told you that it mainly occurs through stomata, which are the tiny pores present on the leaves as well as green stems, as well as transpiration can occur through the lenticels and cuticle. Now next one is, transpiration is not a simple process of evaporation. You know what is evaporation. What are the differences between transpiration and evaporation? It's mentioned in your book also. Transpiration, you should understand that. Differences between transpiration and evaporation. 5 points are there. Number 1, transpiration is loss of water in the form of water vapor from the aerial parts of the plants. But evaporation can occur from any surface of living as well as non-living things also. So first point in your book given, water is lost from aerial parts of the plant, and evaporation can occur from the entire exposed surface of water bodies. So this one occurs from aerial parts of plant. Aerial means upper parts of plants. Help in the process of transpiration, and here it can occur from entire surface of water bodies like rivers, lakes, ponds and all. From there evaporation can occur. Even from our body also evaporation of sweat can occur, isn't it? Then next one, number 2, transpiration can occur only in the daytime, not at night. Okay? Why? Because at night the stomata are closed. But evaporation of water can occur at different temperature, at all temperature, and it takes place only through the stomata. So number 2 is, stomata is there to regulate the transpiration process. Cell is there, but in evaporation there is no such cells like stomata or guard cells which regulate the opening of pores or which control the process of evaporation. No such cells are involved in it. Third difference which is given is, it is found transpiration occurs only in living things, like in living plants only, not in animals. And here evaporation can occur both from living as well as non-living bodies. It can occur both living and non-living. Like from the rivers, ponds, lakes, surface water will evaporate. as well as from the living things also evaporation can occur. But here transpiration will be found only in the living plants. Similarly, the fourth difference is water is lost in the form of water vapor, and here it can be lost. The loss may be of any kind, like it can be loss of water in the form of water vapor, as well as in the liquid also it can evaporate. But mainly it is in the form of water vapor only, evaporation of water occurs. Then the last point, it affects the plant lives, like transpiration can help to reduce the temperature of the plants, as well as it can help in the translocation of nutrients. It can also help in the ascent of sap, that is movement of water and minerals to the upper parts of the plant. Evaporation has no such effect. It will not control temperature, or it will not control this translocation of water molecules. Then next is a leaf which is separated from a plant, it will lose large quantity of water. This loss can be 5 to 6 times more as compared to when it is attached to the plant. Why? Because the loss of water from that leaf surface will occur by the process of evaporation. Okay? And there is no intake of water through the xylem vessels because it has been broken or detached from the plant body. So water evaporates all the time at all temperature through the parenchyma cells, which is containing water inside it, and it collects in the intercellular space, the gap which is present before the stomata, and then the water vapor will collect in the substomatal space, from where it will diffuse outside through the process of transpiration. Now one experiment is there to understand the process of transpiration in plants. You can also do it at home. You have to just take a potted plant. You may have the potted plant at home. Okay? You may have the potted plant. What you do, you take a potted plant. Be careful not to kill the plant, and then take a big plastic sheet and cover it like this. Up to here, up to the stem. No need to cover the entire pot, and leave it in the sunlight for hardly 10 to 15 minutes. You will find that tiny drops of water will appear in the inside of the transparent polythene bag. Plastic bag we say, no, that one you can take, which is visible inside, which you can see. So from where does this water drops appear inside the plastic bag? And you should tie it here. Do not cover the soil and the pot. Okay, why? Because if you cover the entire pot, water may come from the soil also by the process of evaporation. So we have to make sure that we are covering only the leafy part, not the entire pot. Pot is not required. We do not need to cover it. Okay. So this experiment suggests that the water which was collected on the inside of the poly bag or polythene bag, it was due to condensation of water vapor which were released from these leaves during the process of transpiration. The water vapor which was released from these leaves during transpiration, they collected on the inside of the polythene bag, and after condensation they changed into the tiny droplets of water. Understood? So now next is types of transpiration. Transpiration is of 3 types. What are they? Stomatal transpiration, cuticular transpiration, and lenticular transpiration. So first I will say the definition of each of them. What is stomatal transpiration? Transpiration which occurs through the tiny pores present in the leaves and the green stems, that is called stomata, is called stomatal transpiration. And you know that in a dicot leaf, that is dicotyledonous plants, there is more stomata on the lower surface of the leaves as compared to the upper surface. Understood? It means the rate of transpiration will be more from the lower surface of the leaf as compared to the upper surface of the leaf. And there is an experiment also to prove that with the help of cobalt chloride paper, in which we take 2 strips of cobalt chloride paper. It may be there, that experiment. Yes, cobalt chloride paper method. So we have to take cobalt chloride paper which is of pink color. Okay. Once it comes in contact with the moisture or the water vapor, it changes into blue color. cobalt chloride paper. Okay, the cobalt chloride paper is an indicator of moisture. It appears blue when it is dry. I said wrong. In dry condition, when there is no moisture or no water, the color of cobalt chloride paper is blue. But we have seen practically in the lab, because moisture is present in the atmosphere. When we take those papers to do the experiment, it already turned into pink. It is already turned into pink. So actually it is not pink color, it is blue color. So when we keep a strip of cobalt chloride paper on the upper surface as well as on the lower surface of the leaf and cover it with a glass slide and wrap it or fix it with the help of a rubber band and keep that plant along with the leaves on which that cobalt chloride paper was fixed in the sunlight, you will find that after 10 to 15 minutes, the color of cobalt chloride paper which was kept on the lower surface will change into from blue to pink color, because moisture is being produced by transpiration from the lower surface. The upper surface of the leaf and the cobalt chloride paper which was kept on it will also change, but slowly as compared to the lower surface. Means transpiration will occur from both surfaces, upper and lower surface. There is less number of stomata on the upper surface, more on the lower surface, so the color will change faster in the lower surface as compared to the upper surface. So this experiment proves that the number of stomata are more on the lower surface of the leaves as compared to the upper surface. Okay. So now next we have cuticular transpiration. What is cuticle? Cuticle is a thin waxy coating which is present on the surface of leaves. The wax-like coating is there, that is called cuticle. It is also present in the stem also. This coating is there. Understood? So waxy coating is called cuticle. It takes place directly from the surface of leaves. Then comes lenticular transpiration. Lenticels are the tiny pores which are present on the old woody stems. They are small openings which are present in the bark of woody trees, and they remain open throughout day and night. Like stomatal transpiration, there are guard cells to regulate the opening and closing of stomata. In lenticular transpiration, there is no such guard cells, and the lenticels remain open throughout day and night. Okay, so amount of water vapor which is lost through lenticels is usually insignificant, and it helps in the diffusion of respiratory gases. Then comes cuticular transpiration. I told you what is cuticle. It is a waxy layer that covers the epidermis of leaves and stems, and loss of water from the cuticle is called cuticular transpiration. Like if there is more the thickness of the cuticle, like if leaves are very thick, they have a thick layer of cuticle, it will reduce the rate of transpiration. And if the cuticle layer is very thin, it will increase the rate of transpiration. So cuticular transpiration is only 10% of the total transpiration. Means out of 100%, 10% of transpiration occurs through cuticle. So last one is stomatal transpiration, in which we have to study that if you see the surface of leaves and if you take a thin peel of leaf on a glass slide and observe under the microscope, you will find that many stomata are present. Okay, like this bodies you will find in the glass, in the microscope. They are the stomata, and each stomata consists of an opening which is called stomatal pore, and it has two bean-shaped or kidney-shaped guard cells. So these two are the guard cells. This one has a thick wall inside, inner layer has a thick wall, outer layer has a thin wall, and it contains chloroplast that helps in carrying out the process of photosynthesis. So this is the structure of stomata. This is the stomatal pore, this is the inner thick wall, this is the outer thin wall, these two are the guard cells, and this is the stomatal pore. Okay? So turgidity and flaccidity, like when the guard cells will swell or become turgid, it will lead to the opening of stomatal pore. Like here the stomatal pore is open. Now I will draw the diagram in which stomatal pore is closed. See, now here it is closed. Why? Because now the valves are closed. So this stomata is closed, this one is open. So this opening and closing of stomatal pore is regulated by the turgidity and flaccidity of guard cells. Okay. So in the next class we can study the mechanism of stomatal transpiration. It's a very short chapter. After that, the factors affecting transpiration. Only two. Okay, so after watching this video, you can write your name in the comments, and then in the next video which I will make, we will continue with this topic only, that is stomatal, mechanism of stomatal transpiration. Thank you.